Ray. What do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The Pinky and the Brain. Yes, the Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other is insane. The laboratory mice, the dreams of the place. The Pinky and the Brain. Brain.
Before each night is done, your plan will be unfurled by the dawning of the sun. And overthrow the earth. The Pinky and the Brain.
Men. Oh. I can't get over that intro. I can't get over it. I had so much fun making that intro, and I gotta thank you, Roy. Like Roy, when Roy mentioned it, and he actually connected, and I was doing it on the Unintentional Juror podcast. I think it was episode 8. Unfortunately, that stream had me do the stop streaming thing. But that stream was legendary because that's where he made, and I saw it. I was like, oh, I gotta turn this into. I gotta turn this. I loved how he did it, and I was like, I'm gonna have fun with this. Men. I had to end it like that because we're all grown men here, and and I'll be very honest with you. I think the way that I ended that, I did not expect Robert Teller's testimony to go the way it did today, and I'm gonna give my honest opinions in regards to that testimony. I literally just finished watching it 15 minutes ago, so I timed it beautifully to watch for the entire day. Well, technically I started watching at 4 o'clock after I took my nap. Kind of tired. Or 5, one of the two. You know what? Let me actually confirm. When did I actually start watching this? I mean, it's not important. I'm just a real faux, like, stickler for details. So yeah, I started watching at half 5, so it really finished precisely, so everything is fresh in my mind. I got my notes, but I think I took it down properly this time, where I only took down really important information, so it should just be acting as triggers rather than me trying to read from it. But I do remember a lot from what happened with the day, and everything is in order, so I can't wait to give my opinions in regards to this, because I do personally think that, especially with the way that Tellez, I should call him, Alex Tellez, especially with the way that the cross-examination end, I personally thought while watching it from start to finish, whoever had an idea that this guy is XYZ may have been red in the face. Maybe, because I was like, I did not expect this. I thought he was kind of a control freak, kind of someone that was would be a bit more hostile. But what, in my opinion, in his testimony, what came across is probably the one thing that will probably go against him is he tried to be a bit too loyally. Maybe he might look that against him. I mean, I saw that as, okay, he's a lawyer, so, and he practices in a different type of law, so maybe how that happens over there is handled differently in this saying. Did he know what he was doing to try and get evidence in? I have no idea, but he did come across as he was honestly trying to provide on an objective information. In fact, I believe that this was actually across the board with his defense. I actually believe that the defense put on a case to present to a jury and be like, look, we know that you believe that this guy did it, right? We know that the police has done this thorough investigation. But what I took from it was they were saying, at least the defense was saying from the case that they put on today, and this is the first case in chief that they put on today, what I gathered that they were at least trying to send over to the jury was just the pure idea that, yes, we understand and we respect the defense, the prosecution's investigation. However, what we are saying is they're not responsible for whatever outcome that they came to found, but it was these guys. So they basically hit every beat I was talking about. You know, I can't believe how masterfully they zeroed in on the conspiracy tip and how they need to really draw a line and separate the police or the law enforcement, the investigators, all of those things from the actual people that may or may not have been involved in this. And they done such, in my opinion, such a masterful job of laying out such a case that the police really looked like just pawns in the game. They just looked like they were just doing their jobs. It was just routine for them, and they just cannot believe what they walked into. So that's how it comes across to me, by the way. I don't know how everyone else feel. Let me know how you're feeling in the chat. You can offer your theories too. Like I said, this is the unintentional juror. It might be called unintentional juror, but end of the day, the bio says we are all unintentional jurors. So I want to hear your opinions as well. I want to hear what you think of what was presented today, because I was kind of stunned. I didn't think that they would. I was wondering how they would address that side, because that is always the fallacy. Like, that is always the fallacy when it comes to conspiracy cases that do exist. Conspiracy cases are not like alien myths, you know. They actually do exist. It's just, it probably happens in one area more than other. I come from a business background, so the only conspiracy I can think of is a collusion to overthrow a CEO or to sell out. You know, there are rules within that you can do that fairly. So that happens a lot over there. So it's not like it doesn't exist. It does. It does exist. It's just, I think it just happens more in that world than in a world where it leads to murder and everything. Now, before I do go into the first witness, who was Robert Aguero. I've been dying to say that, by the way, because this guy shares the same name as Man City player, like, you know, Sergio Aguero. I love Sergio Aguero. I've been watching him since Atletico Madrid. So when he stepped in with Robert Aguero, I was like, Aguero. Like, the first thing that came into my head was Aguero. But I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, going back to what I was saying. Before I get into all of this, what I want to... Oh, damn, I forgot. Squirrel. Let me think about this. Let me go to the chat and see and see if it comes back. Let me go into the chat and see what comes back. You know, he could also be the boss baby. He can also pass as the boss baby. Yes. I watched his narrative testimony. Yes, I'm gonna go into my thoughts about that in the end. I do have notes, but honestly, yeah, I'm gonna go into that in the end. My theory. Okay, Roy says my theory is his Sonny let him testify without asking questions, so he can say he didn't ask anything because he knew it would be perjury. Whoa, my theory. Let him testify without asking questions, so he can say he didn't ask anything, but he knew it would be. Well, I mean, it's an interesting theory. I mean, I'm sure that if the court allows it, I'm sure that there's a way that they can definitely get around that. So this is an interesting point you raised, because this is something I would love to like ask a lawyer about, especially how this is handled. I think the lawyer that you know done a video on it. In regards to this, I saw it, but I never watched it. So after all of this is done, I might actually watch the video, so that for Verdict Watch, I might have something to say in regards to this and see what I can make from what he says, or I'll just speak to someone I know who would definitely know a lot more about this. But that's a very interesting point, because I actually don't know anything about narrative. This is the first time I've seen someone narrate a story. I wish I can remember what I was about to say. I think I do a little bit, but I'll give it a stab. So what I was trying to say earlier is, at least with the defense and what the case that they're presented, what they are at least trying to do is draw a line in the sand to basically present to the jury and say, you are here to decide whether Telles is guilty or not. Telles is guilty or not. These are the objective facts, and you have to decide for yourself whether the prosecution brought the wrong person in, whether this was a frame job, and they should go after these people that they have alleged a frame job, because that's how they can do that. They can do that. Let's say that they were to be done not guilty, they could launch a whole new investigation to these guys, and this could changed a lot. Now, I just remembered. So this point, I just remembered because I just remember why I forgot now. I just remember the point. The point was I didn't know whether to say it now or later, but I'll just say it now because I think the Tellers point it will be made later anyway. I personally believe that in regards with Tellers and all of this, I personally believe that I just forgot it again. I just remembered it. I do apologize for that. Damn memory. But there was something I thought about his testimony. I did. There was some not testimony, but overall, we saw. Let me just get back to the point. I was trying to see if something comes back to me, but we saw across the board from start to finish, at least that objectivity play through, especially with the clinical psychologists, especially that we talked about last time. That was kind of a precursor. And we also had, in regards to the explanation with the coverage, the cell phone coverage, all of those things, it didn't even seem like they were phased. And there's also testimony that we are also going to go through in regards with. Wait a second. Hold on. Yeah, this is all from the same guy. So we're going to go through the testimonies of Terrence Jameson, as well as the Nicole. I forgot our last name. And then we're going to end on Taya. So Aguero is where we're going to start. Before we do start that, let's go for Roy. He says defense attorney can say he didn't ask anything, so he is not responsible for what his client said. I mean, I don't know why he would be in trouble. I mean, you're doing your job. You're trying to defend your client. So he didn't ask anything, so he's not responsible. I don't know. I think that's the judge, the way the judge even handled one of the, this just reminded me, the way the judge even handled one of the objections of if you remember, Tejas was making the points about Schilling's opinions and his opinions, and the judge was really firm on, yes, we understand that they made their statements, they done this and that, but speak to what you know, your opinions are not relevant. And she was really hard on that. And Tejas, for all intents purposes, I was thinking this was when we're gonna see the mask slip off. I didn't see it. I personally thought he believed he could because it's his own like he probably saw it as his own experience. Maybe he's just trying to be clever. I don't care. I don't know. But to me, it came across as overall, his testimony came across as, in my opinion, someone who just wants to present an honest case. Now, I'll get into that and kind of show why. In fact, that's just my opinion. My juror head is not thinking like that. That's just my Heinz general opinion. My juror head, though, I will get into it now. Now I'm going to my juror head. All of that, I'm going to be trying to remember what was being testified here. Because a lawyer who knows his client is lying can face disciplinary action and possible criminal charges for it. Oh, okay. That's interesting. That's very. I did not consider that possibility. Okay, that's a good starting point for me to ask these questions. Thank you. So, Robert Aguero, he was the cell phone data expert, and and what Robert Aguero was basically doing, he was a very good witness, if I'm being honest with you. From what I remember, he was trying to show you how this one number was recurring and how the movements of this one number could be found on the day to be the same as I'm not sure. I don't have the exact date because it was from the 1st to the 16th. So I did not know the exact relevance. They mentioned the pendulum register, and this was the 28th of, and that was the local time. I know I noted here it was for another witness. Let me go back to here. I noted here it was for another witness. 1 second. German. So the timeline here is, Germain died on the 2nd of September. Something happened on the 28th of October. I'm trying to jog my memory here. And the 28th of October, this was supposed to be the day that the pen register, when it was analyzed by law enforcement. However, something else also happened on this day that I'm just really just blanking on right now. Something else happened on this day, and it's either my memory is leading back to the Italian lady's testimony yesterday, I believe. Day 5, I think, before. I think it was day 5, and her testimony was in regards to, I believe it was on the 28th on at the guy at the park. So I believe that that's what this kind of was kind of showing. And in all fairness, I thought it was a good direct, and it was only the cross left, because I thought they answered the question. They pretty much tried to establish they pretty much tried to establish that Tellez is that it just couldn't be him, because it's not his number. Now, whose number does that belong to? They never said whose number that belongs to. So I don't know if that's Tellez's number or someone else's number, because on cross they were more focusing on Tellez's numbers and communications. Now, for all intents and purposes, I actually thought they started off well, and they went on with a great strategy, right? They went on with a beautiful strategy. The juror and me was loving it. I was like, okay, dismantle that guy. And then they hit a stop, a kind of railroad, if you will, because they were doing a great job presenting the fact that he could turn off his phone. He could have turned off his location services, all of those things. They've done a masterful job presenting that idea forward. But on the redirect, they went back to the generality of the testimony, which I thought was masterful. And they also not only went back to the generality of it and said, look, we're not trying to say this is exactly who or exactly what happened. So it kind of took out the fire out of that cross-examination a lot, at least for me anyway. When I looked at that, I was like, okay, but you need to address two things: the location being off and the power off. And lo and behold, they went and just did just that. So with Aguero saying, hey, that's a bit of a leap to say the power was off. It's a bit of a leap, because you can pretty much apply that to the absence of location in this other data. It would, and it was quite interesting. Of course, that was an interesting defense, and I thought it made sense. I thought it was a good counter, and I thought it kind of does. I mean, I've always, when the power off was made, and he made that argument, he kind of always said, I'm pretty sure there will be some kind of signifier on the phone to say that it was actually off completely. Outside or independent of this research. So I'm like, so I looked at that and I'm like, okay, that's a pretty good rebuttal that he did. And on top of the rebuttal, he went on to add that the media location is usually because of geo settings, and if you turn it off, that's when you don't have it on the media. So that is contingent on them being on and off. Beautiful on the redirect to focus on the catch. Beautiful on the redirect to focus on the catch and the difference between the two, I think it was, and the automatic nature of it, to kind of explain why the incoming messages were going the way it did. And this cut a lot of the steam out, because again, they did actually lead with the fact that it was general. So they were trying to educate the jury that, yeah, these things, like, and oh my gosh. And to be quite fair, like, I felt bad for the prosecution, not in a bad way, like they were dumb or anything, but it's like you put on such a great, it was a great cross, and it's like, yeah, but we baited you. That's what we want to use. It's like they baited him to make that kind of cross examination. So to me, when I saw that, my initial response was, okay, I hear what he was saying, that there was no response. But the fact that there are catch files, and the fact that some of these files are automated based on his findings, it could be spam too. It's too generalized to know who these people are, and it wasn't his job to, as he made clear, it wasn't his job to actually try and look and find out who they were, and and this was a good redirect. So on the recross, oh my gosh, this is where I felt bad for the prosecution, for real, because they really stepped in it, in my opinion. Because after that kind of redirect, and they done a good job even explaining the spam, right? It was a good start from the prosecution to have gone on and decided to say, what did they say again? If I can remember, they said that if the phone was on but in the house, great start, great. That's how you now say, hey, actually, yes. Okay, we tried a theory of power off, but this is a good one. So they tried a theory of power off, yeah. They now present the alternate theory of, yeah, power was on, but he left his phone. He could still receive all these things, right? All these things could still happen, right? All these things, yeah. And you can't know exactly for sure which numbers. Yep, exactly. So this could be spam or this could be actual legitimate concern. Blah blah. Oh, yeah. Anything is possible. It's just a general, like, they went back and forth, and I thought it was a very good way to keep things balanced, keep things fair for the jury to actually look at and be like, what actually is happening here then? Because the expert is agreeing with both of them. But they shot themselves in the foot by trying to bring his inquiry and to the, I think it was the external body. I think it was FBI or SERB, right? I can't remember. I can't really remember where he sent this report to be. He sent a particular data part that was included in the report. He just wanted to confirm the times, right? But the prosecutor thought he was going to confirm the content. And I thought this was a massive, for me anyway, because I liked him. I didn't think he was trying to trick me in any way. I liked all the expert witnesses that they brought up. I felt like they were being completely honest. I felt like they were actually just there to try and let me know that we don't care about this guy. We just want to make sure that you make a right choice because someone is innocent here. Potentially could be innocent. So, and I thought they were on job for that. So when the prosecution, this is what I'm saying, he probably should have read the room. I personally, if I have just made the point, I would have just left it there. But why he tried to go for this point and put it to him and say, you were doing this. And this guy has not presented any sign of deception or anything like that. But you put it to him saying, oh, you contacted, but you said in your report that there was no content. You didn't. I'm like, no, I didn't contact for the content. I wanted to definitely make sure that the time and date is accurate. And then he didn't hear that answer. And I think he asked again. I can't remember what he asked again, but I think he was trying to like really like circle around him. And he was like, no, I'm being serious. I literally just wanted to confirm the time so that I have the correct thing. And that's when he started to backtrack a little. And I was like, it's too late. Me personally, I like the guy, and I just lost it with the prosecution. I was like, I'm just gonna disregard your recross. I'm legit. I'm just gonna disregard this recross. So when the defense came up again and was like, redirect, just to confirm, some files were catch and some files were automatic, all those things. The same way that the prosecution did in their case, and this is what I'm saying. This case is beautiful for me, right? And this is why it's beautiful for me, because you gotta look at the fact here that you have two literal teams that are fighting fair, and you see how each other get punished. Because don't get it twisted. This happened to the defense too. Like when they tried to do underhand things, they were found out quickly, especially with the police officer, the one that was recording herself. They tried it with her. She was like, no, I would never do that. Like, she was very principled, and I think even then they lost points with me too. So I'm like, when I saw this, I'm like, and that was a very good recross, by the way. I had to disregard it. I'm like, listen, I don't know what your game is. He's just trying to teach me. I don't know why you're trying to make him look bad. He's just trying to teach me. So I was like, disregard. I hear what you're saying though. I'm not gonna like I hear what you're saying, but it's enough for me to know that this is just a general data, and he's just presenting an information that I will only understand if I revisit my notes and just try and put it all together and think what was going on here. So that's literally what I thought. That's literally what I thought. I was like, nope. I'm like, okay, you made that point about the testimony about being in the bed. You made that point. He can be off and he can also be in the bedroom. I get it. But I'm disregarding all of it because I don't believe this was power off. I don't believe he left in the bedroom. I just believe what we are being presented here is a template for something. Do I know what all this means? I actually don't, because I have to revisit what he was explaining with the blue dots and all of that. I did write it down, but I actually have to like try and like use my memory because I can't watch the trial again or even confirm all I've put down here for accuracy until after the verdict. So, so that's Robert Aguero done. I loved his testimony. I think he was a very fair witness. Right, who else is here? Before I go in to find out who else is there, the jury asked a question, and this was, is there any methods of taking photos with the cell phone that will not show up on the media location maps? This was a very good question by the jury because actually I don't even know why it was a good question because, like I said, I kind of may have, to be honest, I don't think I may have done anything. I don't think I may have fallen off, or I just don't think I have deliberated on my notes yet. I can't remember exactly what the expert was trying to establish with this evidence. But I think this was a fair question by the jury, and the answer was that you can turn off your location services, and that's how you determine the media location is, and that's how he determined the media location is. The prosecution goes on to add that cloud can sometimes scrub location data as well, which was a very good point, and that was a very good point to bring up because when you do send it up to the cloud, the way he explained it was masterful. He clearly knew what he was doing. Clearly. I had no reason to doubt anything he was saying. I paid attention to, especially during the cross, but I think I need a bit more time to deliberate on this. Roy Lawson just says, I'm going to the chat now. So Roy Lawson just says, you're going to notice the defense asks questions to everyone that testifies except for Tellers. Oh. Well, I said no spoilers. I thought we were friends here. Hey Alana, welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you today. You're from the UK, so yeah, it's nearly bedtime for both of us. I'm glad that my eyes are not that red. So I did take a nap. So, but I am very tired. Though. I am very, very tired. Anyway, Roy Lawson just says, jury question. Tell us again how many times you stabbed him. That's a very good question. Could you imagine if they asked that when they recorded Detective Jappy? If they recorded Detective Jappy, like, Detective Jappy, how many times do you believe that Chapman was that German was stabbed? And he's that'll be epic. That'll be epic. Okay, so let me go on to the next testimony, and this was by Nicole Lefton. Now she was anonymous for this particular testimony. Her identity, I believe, was being protected, but at the same time, before going into the substance of her testimony, I just want to say that for all intents and purposes, when she was describing the direct exam, right, and she was going through how, what was she going through? She was basically going through how Robert Tellers was with the office, and she basically got to witness the splits, and she basically gave the key players. According to my notes here, is Alicia Goodwin, Rita Reed. I'm sure there's someone else because I wrote down Lorraine, but I don't have the last name. Yeah. So the minute I listened to her cadence and I noticed that she was from a black background, I wanted to highlight a few things based on this, right? one, the fact that her identity is being protected is likely because she might face repercussion because of testifying on behalf of him, and she might get hated for that because obviously everyone thinks he did it, which is natural, which is normal. The prosecution, it's not like they're presenting a bad case; they're actually presenting a very good case, a very compelling case. It's just that the defense is equally. I think before I go into the point I was going to make, I think the defense has put on such a case that I was thinking that two things can be true, that that it could be true that you tried to put this all together to take down the opposition accomplice, that could be true, and it also could be true that because you failed, you turn around to kill the man who made the failure happen. My only problem last week, if you remember, was I need the motive to be strong enough, right? So I was hoping for the prosecution to establish the motive. Unfortunately, I don't think they did a good job establishing why Tellez will go 0 to 100 immediately. I think, in my opinion, I just didn't get any indicator. So when the defense came up and brought this witness in, it came across to me from her cadence and everything that she was someone that this could have been a situation that would have been that could have been avoided if someone spoke out and done something early and and other people got involved. But the decision she made to stay out of it was volumes for me. Not only because she's from a minority background where it's kind of a shared experience of kind of an insider knowledge here. If you see two white people arguing, 3 white people arguing, 4 white, stay out of it. I'm going somewhere with this, trust me. So I don't know what Rita Reid looks like. I don't know what Lorraine looks like. I don't know what anyone looks like, right? But the point I'm trying to make is, in regards to Nicole, the way she was describing what was going on in the office and the hostility that was going on there, I can see why she would want to stay out of it. She's also a supervisor as well. She has a very good job. I'm guessing is paying well. So thinking about money, but it's not just that. It's not just the racial part. Even if you take away the racial part, she's a woman as well. There are so many things here that her input in that situation could have averted the defense theory. And I think if that's why they put her on, to send that subtle message received. Absolutely masterfully done. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but if this was the message, this is some 4D chess, like legit 4D chess, because she did testify in really favorable for him, and she didn't come across as someone that just has something to just gain from this. So the fact that she denied he was hostile does put Zach Schilling's testimony in a different way. She hasn't really said anything of note about Zach or anything like that. I haven't written it down, so I don't really know. She explained the state of the properties and how they weren't tenable, and Robert really wanted to change that. And she learned absolute intent from him, which I think what they were trying to say means something to do with. I forgot. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it. I actually don't know. I actually don't know now. I've forgotten. I might have to disregard that then. So this was fine on cross. So this was fine on cross. You know, she was asked if they are seeing the Yukon, and you know they said that he drove his BMW a lot. You know, that's what she said. He didn't drive the Yukon, he drove his BMW. Of course, this was an opening to say that, of course, he was planning this for a while. That was a very good opening, by the way. And definitely, I think they pounced on it in a way. Maybe I didn't record it. Maybe it just went straight into my head. But basically, what I believe was they're trying to set up the idea. At least I got the idea as observing this, that they're trying to basically say that Tejas has planned this, and he just didn't want people to know that he owns a Yukon, in this case the GMC, and they just wanted him to know that he owned the BMW. But of course, his other friends know he owned the Yukon and all of that. So, which is where Zach became credible again. And she says that she was always away helping Tejas, sorry. So that's literally it. That's literally all I have before Terrence stepped in, which his testimony is key as well. But he's a fitness he works at Total Planet Fitness. But in regards with Nicole, that testimony, in my opinion, helped tell us a bit in presenting his case. And I think it did change things a little bit because, like I said, if there was something that happened here, it could have changed things. Now, this moment was when I realized that this case is no longer two things can be true at the same time, but you kind of have to decide which one is true, because now this exists, this variable exists. And the variable that I found that exists in this case is the variable of, we don't, just because something is illegal or legal now, it's a legal practice now, does not mean it's going to be a legal practice later on. There are so many laws there are so many things that were legal that some people enjoyed, and due to a couple of revolutions, that went away. And I'm not even going as far back as 18 or 1900s. I'm just talking literally as early as 2000s. There were some things that were literally, I can't give examples. So I literally just picked this up as I was watching. There are some examples of law changes that I can think of one, actually. Yeah, I can think of one. There's a new law that's changed now. Before, the market used to be free for chargers. iPhone had their own brand of charger. Android had their own brand. It was Type-C. And they kind of were at a bidding war. This was legal. They would fight and even upcharge the price of chargers, blah, blah. In the UK, the government stepped in and was like, right, we're ending this. Everything must be Type-C. Apple, you must make Type-C. You must make Type-C. And all because somebody brought the case to say that the consumers are losing out and they're being forced to pay more just because these two guys cannot get along, and they're trying to sell the best products, but the customers are losing out. So because of that, it led to a change that now everybody must use a Type-C charger. Everybody. Apple tried to sneak around and make their own type of Type-C stronger. They went straight down, find them immediately. Can I find the sources? Trust me, bro. Just trust me. Just trust me on this, okay? Just trust me on this. But that's basically it. That's basically what I've got. So now imagine that same scenario, extrapolate that into this scenario. Robert finds, this is what it really hit me. I said, Robert finds something wrong in this system. He believes it's wrong. This is 2000. Everyone's benefiting. It's not like he has nothing to say about it. He has a lot to say. I'm going to explain this in his. It's gonna make sense more in the cross, but in his whatever he put together. But again, like I said, I took it on with a pinch of salt because I know that he's narrating. So I don't know how cross is gonna come out. So we're gonna find out in cross on day 7 or whatever. I don't know. I don't know anything about that, right? But so far, I am firmly in the ballpark of, all right, prosecution, you need to present your case now and make sure that it's finished. Go for a home run. Because I'm actually believing that there is something to this. Because, like I said, me personally, like I said, I know the whole iPhone thing. Bringing it in, what if, let's say that Steve Jobs was still alive. Just to make this example, I don't want to say anyone that's alive. Let me just use Steve Jobs for example. Let's say that Steve Jobs was still alive, and then he decides, actually, I hate Android for this. They are going to stop me. They're going to put together this motion. I want more money. Hires a hitman, takes him out. That never gets to court. It's all taken. I can see that being a case to keep their bond line. That's a motive. That's straight up motive. So where the prosecution failed to establish motive, at least for me anyway, these guys literally just walked it out. This is 2 or 3 witnesses in, by the way. In 3 witnesses, they were able to set up their case and show it effectively. Bang. And I was impressed. I was impressed. I don't know how the jury was feeling. I was actually happy that they were actually asking questions from these guys. I think they did ask question in regards to, no, that was Terrence. Okay, they asked questions to Terrence, but not in regards to Nicole. No questions for Nicole. They asked, so we're gonna go to Terrence, but that's what I'm saying. Now I have at least motive, because when he presented that they were selling the same day for 50K, and they were not even the state of these houses, all of these things. Like, I may not get the full idea in terms of how this whole thing works, the mechanic and all that, but based on what I've got so far, it's enough incentive to literally call a hit job on somebody. And for me, that was enough. I was like, okay, cool. They have presented enough. Prosecution, I have doubt. A little bit of doubt. So I can't wait to see what the closing arguments are saying and what the examiner is saying. But like I said, from what I've seen, it's nuanced. I kept saying it. I from the way that they were conducting themselves from prosecution, this was kind of what I was hoping they would do, and they just delivered. They delivered it. So let me go into Terrence Jameson, because his testimony was very, very crucial. And this is why I say, and in his testimony, is why I say that the defense ran a 4D chess, and they also ran a very good case, a very fair case. In the direct exam, it was established how much independent this guy actually is, because he owns a club. I think it came out, and he also is a general manager at Planet Fitness. So there's no way that you can say that this guy just went and then tell us may have influenced him in one way. So he's just here to testify for the key fob that was registered on September 2022 on the 2nd. Now, I don't know the significance of this particular, can I say date? Well, we know that Jermaine died, but the location, I don't know the exact location, because Jermaine died in the thing. So what I thought was exculpatory at first, that he can't be at 2 places at once. I was confused when on cross, they came out and they came out and actually established. I was quite surprised that it wasn't, because it would make, I don't know what they were trying. What I'm trying to say is that it seems like they were trying to say that he committed this crime and he moved on to go to the gym afterwards, I believe, to calm down or whatever. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. I personally don't know. It's not speculation per se. It's just, I just really don't know. Right? I just really don't know. So I can't remember why this location was important, but the time I do remember, it was 12:09 a.m. that he checked in. That should be p.m. Sorry, that should be p.m. My bad. p.m. That should be 12:09 p.m. Not a.m. On the 2nd of September. This was the same day that Jermaine died. I can't remember the time exactly, so bear with me on that. I would most likely check my notes, and most likely would be reflected there. They were on cross-examination. The way that I'll be very honest, the way that the prosecution actually went with this cross-examination, it was very interesting, because they really tried to scrutinize the authenticity. Not the authenticity, just to scrutinize how their barcode system work, the swiping system, the disparities, all of that thing, right? But what they didn't bank for, and this was so bad for them, it was so bad for him that I actually noticed that the minute that it was shown on the date and then this and that, I noticed the lawyer walked out, and I was like, why is he walking out? That didn't make sense to me. I can't explain why, but he explained on cross that black card means access anywhere, and he made and anyone can access from anywhere. So Tellez could have been Tellez. So like I said, without knowing the exact location and why this location is important, because I think I forgot. Then this testimony, I don't know whether it's exculpatory or not. If I do get to learn the location, then it could be exculpatory. Who knows? Exhibit 19, jury asked him the question, does your location have that footage that has been requested by the authorities? That was a great question, and the answer was even better, because it's just what happens. It's unfortunate. There was no footage because it must have most likely been overwritten. And the defense, I'll be very fair with them. We're fair enough to ask. By the way, the prosecution did ask for the footage, right? So yeah, they were doing their investigation. We just couldn't give it to them. I don't know what happened. We just couldn't give it to them. So it's not like you can say or make the argument that there was a Brady violation here. I mean, because I know that he was not asking that question out of just pure honesty, because he was looking for a Brady violation. But at the very least, it does make him look like, okay, like they done their job, we done our job. This is why we're here, to present you an objective case. And that was an amazing cross. And now, okay, so this is the last 10 minutes of the show. Robert Tellez, I'm gonna give my opinions. Well, actually, no, not the last 10 minutes. The last 20 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm gonna get your opinions and what you think of what I make of this day. Because like I said, I love this trial because it kind of gives me like the perfect juxtaposition is Karen Read, right? And there are some developments with that case that I'm going to be covering on the Unintentional Juror podcast after all of this Sunday. And there have been developments in that case to with the fact that the McCabe's or Macabert or whichever one of the two, they have just launched a civil suit against Karen Read. So now you get to see. Now what I'm trying to say is that this case, even if you think Robert is guilty or innocent, even if he is pronounced guilty or innocent, I think people should use this case as a template in case someone actually does allege, conspiracy. Because I think those need to be taken seriously as well. It's not actually a joke. Like, some people do conspire to kill and frame. So I think this is a great case to illustrate that. I think they did a masterful job illustrating that. I think this is something that should be borrowed. Again, I could be trying pure waffle, by the way, because I'm not even a legal representative. I don't even know the law that too tough. But I'm just saying, based on what I've seen and the information I've received, I would be persuaded, if whatever comes out tomorrow, I would be persuaded that it's possible that, he may have been framed. But if they can't stick the landing, they need to stick it. They need to stick it because they need to remind the jury that, again, we just presenting an alternate side of the case. You don't have to believe it. You can believe it if you want to. And then they just need to stick it, in my opinion. Direct exam, well, it was all direct exam, so nothing really much of note. I'm not gonna go through everything he said. If I'm being honest, it's just too long, and plus I didn't write everything. But I have noted that his experience, the format was quite concise. It made sense. Start off with your experience and how much you love property and how you got there, maintenance thing. I thought that was relatable. Being me personally, I'm seeing someone else that was quite honest coming in and was just like, yo, I just saw something that I didn't like. I got into a position of power now, and I thought I can change things. And then I met people that didn't want things to be changed. That's what I got. And that backstory was really good for me. And the fact that he made the point to say that they sold 8.5 million worth of properties and then sold it for 14.5 million, which is a 6 million increase. This is sale by sales. Now, this is most likely legal, right? December 30th to 2020, so these things that are being sold the same day, like this is akin to day trading in the world of stocks and bonds and all the world of stocks. I don't know about bonds. I don't know how that works per se, but I have a vague idea of how stocks work. And I know this is day trading. It's not legal. Day trading is not legal. It used to be at one point, but it was made illegal. This is what I'm trying to say. Things happen in time that it was once legal but something happens that changes the law. And that's what Tejas is trying to argue here. That's what I got anyway. That's the argument I got. Because what he found, and bringing in the judge as well, he said the judge was actually concerned. I thought, if you can get this judge to actually, if you can get anything, if I can see a judge testify in a case, oh my God, do you know how wild that would be? I don't think that's what happened, because I feel like Roy would have let me know and say, yo, yeah, that did happen, and you're in for a treat. I think he would have said that by now, but he hasn't said it, so that didn't happen. I don't think that happened. But the point I'm trying to say is, it goes back to the point I was making earlier. There are some people that seek to change the law and seek to create a revolution where there is no law, and that could be a very risky business. And to be honest, when he presented it like this was a very compelling thesis. It was really compelling for me, because I was like, oh, you did find something. You did find how these places were not even worthy, but yet they were being stacked, so because of this little loophole here. Oh, what could happen from here? Could they make it? Could they make it that they have to spend more to clean those places up before they sell it? There are so many things that could have happened from this investigation going forward that could have changed a couple of things. Like I gave you those two examples, day trading and also the iPhone example. Not the same kind of scale, but you can get the premise I'm coming from. Then Tejas drops it in. I couldn't believe it. He goes on to try and explain the cutting of the knife. And he gave us a timeline in regards to when Jermaine died and when the order was filed, which was on the 29th, which is awfully close as well, because on the 28th, you know what happened with this thing. And then Jermaine died on the 2nd. This guy was also, so I can believe him on a timeline. And when he said, I've never had combat training, I believe that. His point about the way he was still being done by a professional, it was only an opinion, so I disregarded it. You wouldn't know that. How do you know that? How do you know how professionals do things? Listen, let me give you an example. This is what I mean. When he said was done by a professional, I'm like, that's your opinion. I'm not gonna hold it against you, because I'm not saying you're not saying that. Yeah, but I'm gonna stop here. There are such things called professional footballers, right? You have professional footballers that plays in the Premier League, where everyone watches, like Man City, best team in the world. And you have professional players that play in League 2, maybe even National Conference. This is in the UK. Big scene. They get paid differently. They have different set of skills. But the point I'm trying to say is, just because someone is a professional does not mean that they're very good at their job or even proficient. Just because this guy that you say, you look like a job of a professional, that's your opinion, mate. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, you've done a good job. I think this is where he should have stopped speaking. But when he went on to say the professional, well, I mean, he said that at the beginning, but so he had already lost me. But when he went on to explain the cutting and all that, I'm like, bro, you've done a good job. I'm going to disregard all of this. Okay? You've done a good job, though. Stop talking. I'm going to be honest. And I will bring it back. I might even bring it back, because I'm like, why are you explaining this? Get your attorney to ask you these questions. You've done your narration. I thought the purpose of the narration to put on what he put on, fair. If that's how the system kind of tries to help you, great. I think every witness should have this, so that they have at least a chance to do this and then switch around. But Tejas does not know when to stop, and he starts to explain the finger, which didn't make sense to me. Of course, he has proof of this, but I'm like, yeah, but you're playing into the prosecution's hands now. Because all I'm reminded now is the evidence of the cut up. You know how the shoes works up on that? And now you are showing them that you were cutting your hands to it. I mean, even if you do bring in an expert to say that the cut was literally from a knife, and yes, it's plausible that it's from an cutting tomatoes, all those things. My guy, not everything needs to be explained. Like, even if you bring in the expert to say, yes, it was from that, this and that, we already have it in our mind that this killer tried to get rid of the evidence. Before you go, because I just saw your message come in, I've got to run, but thanks for a great stream. No, there's replay available. I appreciate you joining and trying to stay. I'm gonna keep to this time anyway, because people need to, weekdays. I can't go early because people are still either going to work or coming back. So I'd rather just keep this time. If you come back from work and you want to watch this, it's up to you. The highest I'll probably increase it to is 12, but I need to see how my sleep schedule is dealing with this. But 11 o'clock is a good time for me. Yeah. So I only aim to do this for like an hour and a half, not long, maybe even less, depending on what I have to say. But don't worry. I'm glad that you were here. I hope that you enjoy on replay, and this goes for every single of you watching on replay as well. Make sure you hit the like button and share it. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to everyone that's here. If you are, I don't care. I mean, people are watching this. It's gonna get promoted regardless. Where I need to go, where this stream or future streams. If you can make it live, great. If you can watch it back on replay, even better. All I'm worried about in my end is just making sure that there are no technical difficulties to annoy you and, interrupt that experience. That's my only concern. So, yeah. So hopefully we can find a good balance and, reach, and just reach a point that more people can join. But yeah, thanks for joining, Roy. And again, Roy is the one that inspired the intro to this show. But I think that's it. If I'm being honest with you, there was nothing more. I will be honest. I think he said something about 8 or 9 a.m. the tow was called in. Nothing really, and he got scared because he saw the difference with the rims, which is fine. He explained the washing of the cars, which again is fine. I actually think all this is fine because even the prosecution admits, we never saw him wash the inside. Like they actually admit he never washed the inside of the car. Some of them had different interpretations, but I got a general idea that he never washed the inside of the car. So it's a good start for him, but I hope he composes himself better on day 7. So I'm gonna close it off there. I think that's all I have to say in regards to this. I don't know much more to say outside of making a couple of announcements. Tomorrow I'm going to be debating Lethal Lauren Niedi. Lauren Niedi, I think. No, Lethal Lauren. I'll stick. Sorry, I keep doing this. I'm going to be debating Lethal Lauren in regards to Laura Owens, and yeah, that's going to be fun. So hopefully you guys will join. I think it's the same time. No, it's not the same time. It's 7:30, 7 o'clock. Sorry, but it's on the live tab. You guys will see it. But it's happening tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that. After the debate, I'm gonna go live to, of course, discuss the test. So it's a great day. You get 2 for 1 really. So hopefully I'll see you there on that stream. I'm really looking forward to it. Shout out to everyone that was listening to this stream. Alana, I see you, as well as Roy. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you will share this stream with your friends and family. Anyone that's out there, make sure. And it's time for me to, of course, deliver the Heinz care package. Obviously, go back and forth in the comments, but keep it respectful. Don't be a creep out here. Respect each other. And most importantly, when you're sharing this, avoid the scrubs. They're the creeps that they were warning us about. That's all we have time for. Take care of yourself and have a great day. Bye bye. And yeah. Have a great day. Bye.
Jimmy, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
The pinky and the brain. Yes, the pinky and the brain. One is a genius, the other is insane. The laboratory mice, the dreams of the place. The pinky and the brain, 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 brain.
Before each night is done, their plan will be unfurled by the dawning of the sun. And overthrow the earth. The pinky and the brain, 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 brain.
Men.